All right, well, it is Friday, June 27th. If you've been following, I obviously did not keep up with my weekly videos. The reason was I didn't have anything to report on. We had not a lot. I had other jobs I had to do. We are a full welding shop that does weld stuff. So this video today about the 4200s, as you obviously saw in the title and the thumbnail and all that jazz, may be the last one for a while. So don't harass me with updates or demanding updates. I don't know if I said this in any of the other videos, but basically this winter I was gonna maybe just sell the car that we're building the 4200 on. We had a really rough fall, we had an even rougher winter, and we're trying to recover from that, and it's been hard. Then during the winter I put out the word on the 4200 Facebook page, like, hey, you know, does anybody really want a manifold? Because I have time and the skill set to do it and the tooling to do it, so I can make a log manifold. I posted a picture on the style I was going to aim for, and then I made a prototype. The interest was great, the support was even better, the verbal support. So we launched it. We opened pre-orders up. Well, actually, we had people message us first. Hey, if you want one, send us a message. And then when I had enough people, I was shooting for around 10 or more people that would say they would buy it. Because I had to buy at least 10 of all the material to even make it worth it. If you know anything about manufacturing, buying in bulk saves you in cost. That's not really a secret. And getting custom exhaust manifold flanges cut, getting all the piping, everything, I mean, it plays a big part the more you buy. So yeah, we opened pre-orders up. It didn't go as great as I hoped, but you know, they still maybe trickle in here and there. We did the first half of the material we bought, got those out to everybody. Everyone seems happy. I haven't seen any running yet, which I can't wait. And maybe when they're running, we'll get we'll get more interest. So I have started the last batch, but none of them are sold, so they're kind of just on the back burner. When I have time, I'm going to get back to them, or if I get orders. Then I started developing the oil pan, because again, we had a lot of interest. People were asking for it. Hey, a lot of people, we want an oil pan that keeps our capacity, that keeps the ground clearance good. So again, I developed it. The last couple videos have been about the oil pan. I'm going to show you a picture and some videos now. I just finished the version, we're going to call it 1.2 prototype of the oil pan. This one I tried MIG welding purely to save time. Again, I'm not here to keep secrets, but in the world of manufacturing, time and, you know, mass ordering are what save you so much money and are what help keep your profits there. As much as people might look at us or other companies as they got money, they can do that, we are a two-man shop. Every job matters. So the more time I spend on prototyping, the more time I spend on making jigs just to make stuff is, I don't want to say it's time lost, because the idea is that hopefully you make it back. But it's not always the case. There's been plenty of products I've come out with that have just bombed. Or we put way too much time into it, and the support that we were told we would have wasn't there. If you ever look at our really early videos, we made a kit for another car with kind of a bit of a co-build with another company, and it didn't work out. That's the sad truth on it. We spent over a month or more just on R&D on that thing. I don't know. So again, in this video, I really want to talk about That version 1.2 oil pan, I'm going to show you guys that. I'm going to sell that one, probably just throw it in the group and say, hey, who wants to buy it? I'm going to sell it for a couple $100 less than what my final one's going to be. Not because there's anything wrong with it, per se. It's just not a final. So I'm not going to sell it at full price. So someone's going to get a deal on it, as long as somebody wants it. What I did on that one is I MIG welded the flange. I think it's 1/4 inch. That's a 1/4 inch flange onto the body. I think I'm going to keep doing that, but I also MIG welded all the seams all the way around it. And I didn't have any problem per se. Penetration was good. It wasn't super dirty. Yeah, it probably saved me some time. But as you'll see in these videos and pictures, I did grind some of the welds down because just MIG welding. I don't know. I really hate MIG welding. That's just a personal thing of mine. I don't like the look of it. I don't like the buildup, and I don't like that as soon as you have an angle or you're doing it in a different position, everything changes. And versus I love TIG welding because I can control all those changes a lot easier. So this is what I've decided to do. I am going to MIG weld the flanges, and then I'm going to TIG weld the bodies. So I think that's going to give me the best results. I'm never going to feel the need to grind out a TIG weld on the body, and I don't want to spend a bunch of time grinding if something looks ugly, because I have kind of a high standard of what I want to leave this shop. So that's a thing. Also, the pickup, if you remember in the other videos, I think the pickup was like 3/4 of an inch or so to the bottom of the pan, and I didn't like that. So here's a picture through the drain hole, with a flashlight in there, and all the baffling's in there. The pan's done, but I wanted to fix the pickup. It is minty. So then I spent a lot of yesterday making a jig so I can duplicate that. I can show you guys what that jig looks like. All right, so here's the one you see in the video. My original plan was just cut off the section there and re-add it there, which is what this one is. Like, that's the bracket from there. I love the rust that happens on this, by the way. That's delicious. Don't mind these black parts. They're just from making the jig. But I ended up adding more there because I cut off too much, I guess, or something. And then that's why you see the picture. It's super minty and perfect now. We add this bracket in. This bracket, I need you guys to know this, uses the straight 6 4200s a location for the pickup mount. A lot of people don't. I don't understand why, but my intention is not for you to have to drill and tap. This is a bolt-in, ready to go. I've bolted this down and I can shake the entire engine pulling on this. It's not going anywhere. It is fine. With that bolt and this bolt, it's not moving. It's minty. So again, now that I had that dialed in, I was able to make this jig, and I'm making my first one on the jig right now. I keep my height location. I ended up cutting out both of the, or well, not both, well, yeah, technically both of where those brackets are. And I'm just replacing that with some straight. This is stainless tube, which isn't necessary. I'm using special fill rod because I don't know exactly what this metal is. Because that one's rusting so bad, I'm guessing it's mild steel. But when I started welding on that one the first time, it really acted like stainless, which I was surprised about. But maybe I was wrong, or it is a low-grade stainless. Maybe like a 309 or whatever they're called, which is a rustable magnetic stainless. So I'm adding 304 stainless. I'm using it's a 309 filler rod, which is a fill rod that's meant for mild to stainless. Doesn't matter. So basically, all I have left to do is this one is weld this together, add a tab here. Just gotta bolt that down, not like it matters. This thing fits in there super nice. So that's how that's happening. Okay, so that's the jig. Now we talked about coming out with motor mounts. We've talked about coming out with an intake manifold. We've talked about a copper gasket. I still want to do the copper gasket. That's not going to cost us really any money. It's just some time. I already have the copper here. I think I showed that before. we just are gonna come out. We just need to make a press, so we want to press a raised crushable bit into that copper. But unfortunately, I have other stuff I have to focus on. As much as I wish everything was selling better, if the manifolds were hot, we'll see how the oil pans do. What's gonna happen right now is I have one oil pan I'm gonna weld up today. This is gonna be the last. This is gonna be like 2.0, I guess we'll call it. I don't know if we're gonna call it that. I don't know. But this oil pan is gonna be how it's gonna be from now on. It's gonna be MIG welded on the flange. There are some bolts that are really tight to the body, so I'm gonna MIG weld and stop on those bolts. And then MIG weld the entire pan flange, and then I'm gonna TIG weld around those bolts so that the welds can stay a lot flatter. And I don't want the bolts to interfere with the weld, and I don't want the weld to lift the bolts up too high. Even though downward force is downward force, I just don't want it to happen. I don't want to have to grind the welds to give the bolt space. Once I'm done with doing this next pan, which is kind of a special one, it is going to someone. I'm opening pre-orders. So my hope is that Monday, what is Monday? This coming Monday, whatever next Monday is. Monday the 30th. Okay, so Monday the 30th, my hope is that pre-orders are gonna be open on the oil pans. Hopefully they go better than the manifolds. What are you gonna get? Now I'm gonna tell you now, even though I'm gonna put it in the description. You're gonna get an oil pan. That oil pan is gonna have a dipstick. You saw it in the video, or I'm showing it now, I don't know, but it has a dipstick. It is a dipstick location. You will have to bolt this dipstick to something. I don't care what, but we're gonna put ours on the firewall. We're just gonna put a riv nut in the firewall. Done. So you're gonna have a dipstick location. It's gonna be already there, welded. You're gonna have baffling in there. You're gonna have a pickup tube. You're gonna have new hardware. I don't understand some of the people who are saying you can use the stock hardware with our oil pans. That's not true. The front and back bolts only fit with the stock oil pan unless they're spacing them out on their oil pan. I don't know. I want to give people the option of the AC, but I don't have one right now, so I'm not doing it yet. Because that is just going to be a weld-on bung. It's super easy to add. Because right now I do use that other block engine as my jig. So if I had an AC compressor deal, I would just bolt it in there with the bungs, weld them on, super easy. That will hopefully be an option soon, but it's not an option right now. So again, you're gonna have oil pan, you're gonna have pickup tube provided. You're gonna have hardware for the oil pan. The pickup tube, I think, yeah, I provide hardware for that, yes. You're gonna get a gasket and you're gonna get the hardware. That's coming with it, because each one that I buy comes with those pieces. So those are just going on with you. What else are you gonna get? You're getting the oil pan. You're getting the baffling on the inside, which you'll see in the video. The top, I made it so the top panel is removable. It uses M5, I believe, stainless hardware. They're a little tall right now. I'm gonna get shorter ones, but whatever, who cares? The reason I had to make those removable is the rubber doors. The rubber doors are meant for what they're being used for, obviously. But if they ever need to get replaced, if you ever want to check on them, you wouldn't be able to if I welded this all in one piece. So the rubber doors, bam, they're accessible. And then you can obviously see in the oil pan better. The drain, I'm not providing a drain plug. The OEM drain plug works. If you bought an engine, you should have gotten an oil pan, the drain plug fits. Or if you need to buy a drain plug, or if there's a magnetic drain plug that works for these motors, I don't know, I'm not looking into it, but I'm putting the bung in it, I'm not putting a plug in it. I'm not saying it's hard to, but it's just not something I'm planning on. Okay, I'm gonna interrupt myself for a second. there's one thing I forgot to mention about the drain. As you can see in these two little short videos, on this oil pan, the drain plug is in the back. This is what we talked about in our last video, that we were going to move it to back, but for our application in our car, we don't need to. So if you don't want to, you don't have to. I think I'm going to just do that as an option also. So you're going to have an option on oil drain on the bottom, which will be a little better for drainage. And I'm going to put it right where the pickup tube is. So you can also look in the hole at the pickup tube and make sure there's nothing in there, or you need to clean it out. Or you can have the oil drain on the back where it is in these videos. Optional extras. You will have an option for powder coating. I believe it's $100 add-on. I'll have my powder coater do it black. That's the option. You get it raw or black, $100 difference. That will also add a little bit of time. So if you pre-order it, you pre-order powder coated, it's going to take a little bit longer than someone who pre-ordered it raw. Keep that in mind. It has to get shipped out. My guy's local to me, but he's got his own stuff to do too. So I would estimate it would take an extra couple weeks. The other optional extra is the -10AN or the -12 or nothing. I think that's gonna be, I think it's like a $25 add-on. I think that's pretty much it. So again, this is a tough day. I'm stopping at the 4200s right now, or I'm pausing them. I'm still gonna make manifolds if they get ordered, at least for what I have in stock. I don't know if I'm gonna make more than what I have in stock or not. Just because I'd have to invest quite a bit of money to get the next batch after what the next, I think I have 5 left I can make. And inventory is like the silent killer of businesses, because it's just money sitting on shelves. That's all it is. And you know, we have to pay for everything, and that gets tough sometimes. The oil pans are not as bad, but I think, again, I'm just gonna do in batches. So like, you know, if we sell, I don't know, let's just, for the sake of this, if we sell 6 of them, I'm gonna buy 10 of them, and then I'm gonna make 10 of them. And then, you know, I'll send out whoever pre-ordered, and then I'll have a couple on the shelf. I'll sell those as they come in, and then repeat, rinse and repeat. But I'd hate for someone to buy one of anything and just not be able to receive it. Not be able to receive it if I don't plan to make more. That wouldn't make sense. So again, this is gonna be the last video for a while. I have another project I'm working on. I'll make a separate video on my page, on this page, once I do that other project, even though it is kind of a different company. But it is kind of car related, so you never know who's interested. I hope it goes good. I mean, I hope everything goes good. So yeah, hopefully the oil pans do good. Monday, I'm hoping to open up pre-orders. I will fulfill them even if I don't sell enough of them. Regardless, you know, if we sell just a couple, I'm not gonna not do them. I'm gonna do them. I want to get them out there, because even if not a lot of people have an interest in them, they will, like, once people utilize them, that can grow interest on its own. So I really want that to work out. I think that's gonna be it. So next week's the 4th. It's gonna be a short week. You guys aren't gonna see any updates for a while. I don't know if there are gonna be updates unless people are doing awesome things and ordering more stuff. It's a weird world we live in, but you know, we're just here trying to make it work. So anybody who watched this, and especially if you stuck to the end, I thank your support. All of this takes work. Even making these videos takes work, and thank you for that. Anybody who orders and supports us that way, thank you so much for that. But y'all have a good weekend. Have a good 4th of July. Pre-orders on Monday. Well, I'll see you.